Craig, you really have had a deep dive this year doing Elvis and now doing this. Are they really that influential? Are they really the kind of people who have made a difference, or what did you discover?
Yeah, I think they're both those movements, Elvis, rock and roll, and punk have made an incredible difference. I think with punk really said, look, if you've got something to say, get up and say it. Don't be scared to get up and have a go. And you might fail, or you might ignite something that changes the world. And that's what the Sex Pistols did. I mean, they had a very brief, very short, very explosive career, and that detonation sent ripples out into the world that still continue today. I mean, you see their influence, in fashion, in art, and music. It's still very, very strong, very, very prevalent. If you think of a world without punk, it would be a very, very different world.
And what about Elvis? Did he just
Well,
shake things up? Was that it?
Well, with Elvis, the thing with early Elvis is that they wanted to put him in jail because he was a threat to segregation in the South, and he was spied on along with a lot of other artists, and seen as a real threat to that terribly racist society that he existed in.
Yeah, Thomas, you must have done a deep dive into the Beatles then when you were doing that film, right?
Hmm.
And did you see that they were just as huge as these two, or where do you put the Beatles?
They were huge fans of Elvis. They wanted to be rock and roll stars. They wanted to get the girls, and they wanted to play music and do the coolest thing on the planet at the time, which was this new form of music that originated in the black culture of America, and it kind of got turned around and played around with and turned into this kind of worldly music that forced people to get up and dance after spending so many years of war in Europe. And now we have this new generation that's coming along, and with it the fashion, the jackets, the leather jackets, the big puffy dresses the girls were wearing, the cars, the art, the culture, it all went with the music.
Did
And
you
so
see that?
those boys wanted to get up and just do the coolest thing, which was form a band.
Did you see though that Malcolm was that much of a Svengali that he really could control things, or
Um, yeah, I think he definitely liked to have control. He would keep hold of control, and he did pit the boys up against one another because he wanted to create tension. And with tension comes that kind of electricity that generates art. I think that's how he saw it, really.
could you relate to that at all? Did you say, "Oh God, I could never do this," or "Yes, this is me"?
No, I don't. I don't quite think in that same way. I understand the concept of creating art out of pure chaos. I don't. But I mean, if you have too much structure, I suppose, then you're too regimented. Yeah, you can lose the flow, I suppose. Especially if you're doing something creative, something artistic. It is good to kind of let things just kind of go and happen. As soon as I start holding on to, like a scene, for example, if I get too much in my head, or I'm thinking too much about the direction and trying to hit too many beats and do technical stuff at the same time, like hit my mark and catch the light, then suddenly it gets a bit all too much, and it needs to be completely stripped back down and destroyed in order to bring it back to life again. So,
So
maybe in some ways.
doing this, how did it change both of you? Did it make you seem like I should take more risks, or what
Yeah,
impact did it have?
yeah, I think so. I think I've been inspired somewhat by the bravery of what they did, and how they approached life, because they had very little to lose. They basically Steve had nothing to lose. He had no family to speak of, unloved, disregarded by society, undiagnosed attention deficit disorder, told he was an idiot. He had nothing. He would have been dead if the Sex Pistols hadn't succeeded. So, and he didn't become a revered musician, he would be dead by now. So I think that example of taking a chance, of risking everything, is something you have to continually remind yourself as a creative person, because it's very easy to get scared and to stop taking risks. I mean, you know, the very first film that I wrote, Strictly Ballroom with Baz Luhrmann, you know, we weren't in the dire situation that those forgotten kids were from the forgotten generation who became the Sex Pistols and their followers and the other artists of that movement. But for us, it was live or die. You know, we're just going to crash or crash through. And I think you have to continue to take risks as a creative person. It's good to be reminded of that by, you know, looking at the Sex Pistols and what they
And you, Thomas, you did too?
Yeah, no, I would agree with that statement completely. I'm someone that does like my comforts. I generally live quite a simple life, and I quite enjoy that. I like, you know, my pillow, and
You're not just going to sleep anywhere, right?
yeah, but I mean, you know, it's important to make sure you know, get out there and exercise your mind, your soul, and what you have to offer to the world. And you do that best when you do take risks, and you react on impulse, and you trust yourself, and you learn to trust that impulse that comes from within you. And you may make mistakes, but that's okay. That's good, if anything. Sure. So no, it's definitely taught me that.
Well, thank you both. It was very fun to watch. I enjoyed every bit of it. So,
Oh,
Oh, that's great.
Good. I'm glad.
Lovely to meet you.